Hi, thank you for watching Dig Into China. I'm Don Shang. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Today, I'd like to delve deeper into the employment challenges faced by the youth in China, aiming for a more thorough exploration of this topic. Being the world's second largest economy, China is grappling with a growing array of challenges. These encompasses a real estate crisis, bottlenecks in industrial advancement, Western restrictions on Chinese semiconductor access, and the pressing issue of consumer downgrading. Furthermore, a crucial problem faced by China is the rising unemployment among its younger population. China's labor market is exceptionally unstable. According to data from September 2023, the official youth unemployment rate has surged to 20.8%. It's important to highlight that this figure is continually increasing, leading the Chinese Communist Party to discontinue its public release. The term youth in this context pertains to individuals aged 16 to 24, encompassing college graduates, and the total count within this age group is estimated to be around 96 million people in China. The surge in youth unemployment has been attributed by some to the ongoing transformation in the labor market, while others lay blame on Beijing's restrictions in certain sectors, specifically limitations on internet platforms and the regulations impacting the extracurricular education industry have had a discernible impact on youth employment. Giant internet corporations like Alibaba and Tencent experienced rapid growth over the past 2 decades, playing a crucial role in addressing the employment needs of many young individuals and generating numerous new job opportunities. However, in recent years, changes in regulatory policies and the government restrictions on these industries have posed significant challenges. While it may not be accurate to claim that these companies are facing imminent demise, it's clear that their operations have been considerably disrupted. Faced with an altered regulatory landscape, these major enterprises are now compelled to undertake substantial layoffs as they can no longer sustain their previous unchecked expansion. The sustained high youth unemployment rate can also be attributed to a more foundational and a direct factor, namely the ongoing transformation of the labor market. Prior to 2015, wages were on a steady rise across different sectors, encompassing both labor-intensive manufacturing and services. However, a change took place after 2015, with a majority of jobs shifting from manufacturing to lower-skilled service sectors due to global supply chain restructuring. Unfortunately, these low-skilled service positions fail to genuinely address the youth unemployment issue, given their low pay and demanding nature, making them unattractive to many college graduates. The surge in university enrollments has led to an oversaturation of the job market, resulting in a scarcity of matching employment opportunities. This imbalance has made the job search increasingly difficult, giving rise to various unusual trends and terms like lying flat, full-time kids, and slacking off. A significant number of individuals are now relying on their parents to support their livelihoods, a phenomenon known as Ken Lao in Chinese. The outlook for the next generation is uncertain, to say the least. Over the past few decades, China enjoyed a prosperous economic era, leading to substantial savings for many parents. Purchasing a property either outright or through their workplace became common, and these properties have seen a remarkable increase in value, reaching millions. This accumulation of wealth is largely attributed to the reforms and the policies of the opening up period. However, this wealth is currently undergoing gradual depletion. Between 2010 and 2012, a Yale University study reveals that the Chinese family wealth experienced significant growth. Property price alone surged by an impressive 51%. Consequently, many young individuals relying on their parents are essentially benefiting from the appreciated value of their parents' homes, whether through renting out the property or selling it after substantial appreciation, sometimes reaching sixfold or tenfold. The resulting funds represents a significant windfall for them. Presently, many young individuals would rather adopt a lying flat approach at home than endure the challenges of laborious work. They are hesitant to take up demanding jobs, avoid working in factories, and are particularly averse to engaging in agricultural activities in rural areas. However, the job opportunities in urban areas are limited, leading to fierce competition and intense maneuvering in the job market. A striking example of this is the March 2023 National Civil Service Examination in China, which drew participation from over 7.7 million individuals. Yet, the total number of civil service positions nationwide is just slightly over 200,000, with 7.7 million candidates vying for these positions. The level of competition is undeniably intense. From a corporate standpoint, the elevated unemployment rate can be attributed to the overall economic deceleration in China. Numerous enterprises are hesitant to expand their workforce, particularly when it comes to hiring inexperienced young individuals. Employers face the dual challenge of investing in training, incurring additional expenses, and grappling with uncertainties regarding the longevity of these new hires or the stability of their own businesses. Concerns about the potential closures further deter increased investment in human resources. China's economic dynamics are intricately linked with the real estate sector. Over the past 2 decades, housing prices have consistently surged, inflating a substantial real estate bubble. The apprehension of a bubble burst prompted the Chinese government to impose extensive restrictions and clampdowns on the real estate industry. Thus, in turn, has directly led to debt defaults by property developers, with major entities such as Evergrande and Country Garden experiencing financial strain, and numerous construction projects left incomplete, some even facing bankruptcy proceedings. Examining China's stock market provides insight into the operational challenges confronting numerous enterprises. Since 2021, there has been a substantial 40% decline in the total market capitalization of China's stock market. Notably, China's population is now experiencing a decrease, contrary to earlier expectations, both within China and internationally, that the Chinese economy would eventually surpass that of the United States. However, current indications suggest that such a scenario is becoming increasingly improbable. In essence, the underlying cause of the unemployment rate can be traced back to structural problems within the Chinese economy. To begin with, China's GDP growth relies predominantly on extensive infrastructure investments funded by government debt. These investments encompass the constructions of highways, bridges, skyscrapers, sports stadiums, airports, and more, creating short-term employment opportunities for many. However, the effectiveness of these projects in generating returns is a separate concern. The funding for infrastructure development requires significant capital, leading to the need for loans and reduced interest rates. State-owned enterprises seek substantial government subsidies and loans from banks. In the event of any investment losses, the responsibility falls on the state-owned banks and the government. Engaging in ventures where gains are assured and losses are mitigated becomes an attractive prospect for various entities. Consequently, numerous local governments eagerly pursue ambitious projects, including high-speed railways, bridges, and towering structures. Numerous foreign visitors exploring China often perceive the country as exceptionally developed, captivated by the sight of modern airports, recently erected elevated bridges, high-speed rail networks, and towering skyscrapers. The visual impact is undeniably impressive. However, how closely do these infrastructures, skyscrapers, and airports align with the daily lives of ordinary people? In reality, many of these investments may not yield substantial benefits, but they do contribute to elevating GDP and generating some job opportunities. What prompted China's historical fixation on large-scale construction projects? For local governments, it served as a conspicuous means of showcasing achievements. While measuring the happiness and well-being of the populace proves challenging, constructing 10 buildings and 10 bridges in my jurisdiction stands out as a tangible and recognizable accomplishment, doesn't it? In the past, when China was economically impoverished and lagging behind, the emphasis on extensive infrastructure developments, even if achieved through borrowing, was deemed justifiable, as it laid the foundation for economic growth. A decade ago, international media reported on the phenomenon of ghost cities in China. In 2017, CNN highlighted an obscure location with a nearly empty subway station, contributing to claims that China was investing in numerous unnecessary infrastructure projects. However, just 2 years later, the same subway station was bustling with activity. Some patriotic voices dismissed these reports as contradicting each other, discrediting CNN. Undoubtedly, the swift urbanization process in China, marked by millions of rural migrants streaming into cities, led to a rapid alignment of demand with supply. Yet, the issues exposed by these media outlets are not entirely unfounded. China indeed has numerous ghost cities, and instances of wasted infrastructure exist. Despite having reached or surpassed development levels of some developed countries, China, driven by the imperative of sustaining GDP growth, continues its relentless construction of highways, bridges, and railways. However, at this juncture, there is limited room for further construction, resulting in diminishing returns on investment in these projects. As an example, China has built the world's tallest bridge, soaring to a height of 1,800 feet and stretching 2,300 feet in length. Where was this remarkable bridge constructed? In the economically disadvantaged province of Guizhou. Over the past 2 years, Guizhou has seen the construction of around 500 new bridges, including the world's tallest. The expenditure of a single bridge can exceed $150 million. The financial viability of these projects is dubious at best. In conclusion, this development model is not sustainable in the long term. Starting from 2009, there has been a growing disparity between the growth rates of China's debt and its economy. The effectiveness of debt in stimulating economic growth has been diminishing. However, to maintain China's GDP growth, there is a compulsion to heavily rely on increasing debt. If China continues the extensive construction of high-speed railways, highways, airports, and other infrastructure without a concurrent rise in actual demand, it may result in debt defaults, an ongoing dilemma faced by different levels of the Chinese government today. The Chinese economy relies on three key pillars: real estate, exports, and domestic consumption. Nevertheless, the real estate market is currently experiencing a bubble burst, and exports are showing a downward trend. As of July 2023, statistics indicate that China's exports to the United States have decreased by 23% compared to the previous year. Similarly, exports to the European Union during the same period have also seen a reduction of 21%, along with a 21% decrease in the import volumes of crude oil. This suggests a less than favorable outlook for China's export situation. Consumption, on the other hand, is facing even greater challenges. The government is trying to encourage people to spend. But for effective consumer spending, a prerequisite is a thriving and positive overall economic environment where consumers have both income and confidence. The reality, however, is that Chinese incomes are decreasing and there is a notable lack of confidence in the future. Even the traditionally reliable real estate investments are faltering as housing prices consistently decline. With the continuous drop in housing prices, consumer confidence is further eroded. In 2023, consumption in China constitutes less than 40% of GDP. In comparison, the United States sees consumer spending accounting for 70% of GDP, and in Europe, it exceeds 50%. The global average hovers around 55%, indicating that China significantly lags behind this benchmark. In present-day China, citizens find themselves lacking the financial means and the confidence to engage in substantial consumption. Most of their funds are deposited in banks, essentially returning the money to the government. This surplus is then channeled into ongoing infrastructure development initiatives. Consequently, China's elevated savings rate has resulted in an increased dependence on infrastructure investment to drive economic growth. However, this approach is encountering growing difficulties as the overall economic climate deteriorates. In recent years, economic conditions have worsened, leading to a significant decline in consumer confidence among the Chinese population. People are refraining not only from purchasing homes and automobiles, but also from purchasing household appliances. Additionally, there is a noticeable shift towards domestic and nearby tourism, with young people embracing budget-friendly travel options like special force tourism or cost-effective journeys. To stimulate consumption, businesses are compelled to lower prices, cut costs, and resort to measures such as layoffs and salary reductions, contributing to rising unemployment and income decline, a classic indication of an economic crisis. A curious observation in China is the continuous reduction of interest rates, the expansion of credit availability, and the consistent issuance of currency. While conventional economic wisdom would expect such measures to trigger inflation, China is paradoxically experiencing deflation and a decline in prices. This anomaly underscores the challenging and complex state of China's economy, facing limited avenues for resolution. Following the era of economic growth post-China's reform and opening up, a rapid expansion was witnessed. However, the sustainability of China's development models has come into question. Adding to the complexity, China is facing the challenge of an aging society even before achieving widespread prosperity. From this point onward, the country's labor force is anticipated to decrease by approximately 1% annually. To rejuvenate the economy, it is crucial for China to cultivate strong ties with developed nations, focusing on the development of trade. Unfortunately, due to Xi Jinping's heightened concerns about maintaining control, there has been a gradual divergence from the West, impacting diplomatic relations. In such a challenging scenario, young individuals find themselves limited in options. The optimal path often involves pursuing a career in public service, while those who don't secure such positions might opt to continue their education. Whether it's pursuing postgraduate or doctoral studies, this decision allows them to postpone entering the competitive job market. However, it's increasingly apparent that even pursuing higher education doesn't guarantee a viable solution. Many postgraduates and doctoral graduates are now entering fields like food delivery, ride sharing, or even taking up roles such as building guard immediately upon completing their studies, encountering unemployment right after graduation. This has become a new norm for numerous young individuals in China. The question arises: will these young individuals become a force for change that challenges the stability of Chinese society, or will the Xi Jinping government redirect them towards employment in factories or rural areas? This remains a situation that warrants ongoing observation. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.